Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I haven't done this type of video for almost a year now. I'm so sorry. And it was kind of last minute, but I was looking at the live tab and then I scrolled a little bit and I saw that the last Chillax with me, episode 5, was from 11 months ago. And I was like, oh, I should fix that for sure. That's not good. So, last minute, maybe people have forgotten about this type of live video. And I'm also on the West Coast. So, right now it's 9:05. Well, yeah, I don't know. I always have problems matching up with other time zones. So this is really, if anyone shows up, thank you so much for being here. If you're live and sending me questions, whatever. But if it's just you and me, just us together as you're watching the replay, hello. It's a very special moment. I have my second cup of coffee. Oh, and this is one of the mugs that I was talking about in my actually pretty popular, if I do say so myself, video all about my mugs. This is the other one that my husband got me. Does it have cats? I was trying to think if it had cats or not. This one doesn't have cats. The black mug that has the library does have cats. So this is one that I did not show you all in that video, but cheers. I am hanging in there, you all. I think the concern, which is not bad, but the concern of me sounding and looking exhausted kind of did wane a little bit after I stated a couple times that I'm going through some tough times. So there's that explanation. I don't really look too much like a raccoon today. I slept a little better than previous nights. I also took off yesterday from my full-time job, and that was a nice little break. We didn't really do anything, and sometimes you really just don't have to do anything. Though there was some weird nonsense yesterday that I it happened and I was like, I'm not going to get into a fight with anyone. So I got up and I walked away from my computer. I was like, no. I'm I can be when I'm this stressed out for this long, and the stress is going to just continue at this point until some stuff happens, but I can't say because legal issues. I'm I have to really, really watch myself because I can go really bitchy really fast. And I don't want to do that to anyone. So that whole situation yesterday, I just went away. I went away. I walked 10,000 steps yesterday. Half of that was me power walking through my anger and frustration because the thing that happened yesterday was nonsense. So I just wanted to not get myself into trouble yesterday for a good couple of hours. And though I shouldn't have, I went to the mall and I just sat there and had Chipotle by myself. I know a lot of people do not like eating by themselves, even if it's at like a McDonald's or something like that. I don't care. I will sit down by myself and play on my phone as I eat and drink on my merry way. I think it's pretty healing in some ways if you, I guess, confidence. I know I have pretty high confidence, but even when I was a low self-esteem teenager with a bunch of nasty looking acne all over the place, and I was growing into my like a lankiness. I don't have lankiness anymore, but those weird teenage years. I was even having food by myself at a restaurant all by my lonesome. I don't know. I think, when did I start thinking that that was a good thing to do? I don't actually, maybe middle school. I tried it once when I was younger, when I was upset, I said, hell yes, I'm going to keep on doing it because it really does not matter, everyone. It does not matter what strangers think of you. So, yes, I just hung out by myself for 2 hours yesterday, and it cooled me down a bit, but I'm actually still slightly annoyed from yesterday. So, it's the stress. It really is. Or else that wouldn't have been a huge problem. It would have gone away already. But yeah, at least I do still have my full-time job, and I the husband is that's up in the air, unfortunately. Um, but I don't look as tired. I do look a little tired, but not as tired. There were points in a couple other previous videos where I look like a raccoon, but the dark spots under my eyes, not too bad. Hi, Andy. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. Yes, thank you. You can also send gifts. No, you can send gifts. I mean, I think everyone welcomes gifts. Uh, Now, I am actually having a better reading month than last month. Last month was a hot mess, you all. It was. If you saw my reading wrap up, yeah, you would see that it's not good. But but at least this month so far, I have a couple of 4 stars. That's amazing. Oh, wait. I'm gonna say, okay, The Indigo Room by Stephen Graham Jones was 5 stars. That's a short story, though. A Wandering Mind by my friend V. Lozada, that was 5 stars. Dead Heat by Patricia Briggs, 4 stars. Winter Lost by Patricia Briggs, that was 3.5, but I could not make that up to 4. That was a little too complicated. And apparently, they, someone, because Patricia Briggs is traditionally published, I blanked out. They kept pushing that book, Winter Lost, farther and farther out, and I'm like, I can kind of tell. It was we just needed a few edits. That's what I'm just saying. And then I listened to, and I didn't rate it, The Wastelands by Stephen King, because that's the Dark Tower #3, but I am counting that because my husband and I are doing a lot of stuff in the house, and well, how many times has he read the Dark Tower series? A lot. And so now he's listening to it, and like I just listened to a whole book #3. I'm counting it. I'm not going to rate it, but I'm going to count it. And I knew what was going on because my husband told me and has told me many times about the Dark Towers books. So it was not like it's, oh, nothing makes sense. No, there's stuff that does make sense. It's just like, Stephen King's fine. Gonna get shit for that, but okay. It actually sounds better because I read Cujo. No, also I can't. I have problems with Cujo. That was a 2 star. Um, The Dark Tower sounds better. Now, if I read it, I don't know, but The Dark Tower book 3 is not as meandering or info dumpy. Now, that could also be because it's book 3 in this series, and maybe there's info dumps in book 1 or 2. I don't know, but book 3 was fine. Hello, thank you for joining. That is a great username. It's very good. Oh, hello, already overbooked. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, we love the puns. Thomas really loves the puns. That's what he is known for, and his dad jokes. Yeah. Now let's see. What else? It has not been that eventful regarding writing stuff because I'm on a break. I'm one of those writers, people, where if I'm at a certain stress level, I can't write slash do creative stuff. Um, and that's a huge for a lot of writers. But I think it has something to do with I have Clifton strengths. I'm really into Clifton strength, and I think um, because my number one Clifton strength is empathy. After a certain point, I just this is gonna sound silly, but there's too much feels with the empathy and also taking on other people's stressors, namely my husband right now trying to keep this house, that I just can't write. And I honestly do not want to write because there's just too much stuff going on. So I did publish a short story, which is the prequel under Nicole Pierman. That's my given name. And yeah, that's a prequel short story to A Patriot's Tale. So that's titled A Patriot's Brother. So look, I did something. And then under my urban fantasy name, um, I'm working on an omnibus with the first 3 books and then also a short story. And I'm just waiting to hear back from my cover artist to see how much that's going to be. Um, and I will put that shit on a credit card, whatever. I just need to do something with my writing life. And I think that is pretty amazing. I haven't created anything new. Um, I have created new things. I'm not publishing anything new in the sense that I wrote it this year or anything like that. But it is a lot of work. Just saying. It is, I swear. Um, yeah. I don't know when I'll be back writing again, but I would not be surprised if I don't write all of this year, which is unfortunate, but this is the state of things. At this point, sometimes you have to pick and choose your battles, and I'm not going to fight myself to write. And even though I love writing and that's what I want to do, it's just there's just too much going on. I'm sure a lot of people think that way and with something because of all the things that are going wrong right now. They give up like one or two things just because there's too much on your plate. I was thinking of what can I do that's kind of artsy to maybe kick in the artsy feels. And I do have coloring books, but I don't really I had a moment I stopped doing like coloring book stuff because I was too into making it perfect, and that's not the point. So I am a perfectionist. I have perfectionist problems. So I had to stop that a couple years ago. Maybe I bring it back and I just have to allow myself to do something that's uglier. I don't even know. I am cooking more. Wow, the trad wife life. That's not even. I'm the one that's working right now. I'm just doing like all the things. Um, I am walking. No, I've always walked a lot. You know what? I need to get back into weightlifting. I haven't done that in I think 2 months. Um, now, which sucks. I realized I'm like, ooh, I've lost some muscle because what was we have this uh like a grocery box that like it's a fold down box, but you open it up and you put all the canned goods in, and I could not get that very high off the ground. I was like, oh hell no. But I usually can, even with a bunch of canned goods from the grocery store. That means, oopsie daisy, I'm losing muscle. I need to work on that. And that thing probably was pushing 20 pounds of just canned goods yesterday after the grocery store. Uh, and that shouldn't be like that because I was able to lift way more than 20 pounds. Bad me, but I've just been so tired that I don't even think about weightlifting. Reminder, you need to get back on that. Oh, I've just been chit chatting. Oh, do what I do, have the cat write everything. I don't have a cat. I don't even have a dog. This would not be a great time to get any animal. Very unstable situation right now. Also, even if there wasn't, well, even if there was stability, we haven't unpacked stuff yet. So, like, it would be chewing on boxes and wires, and poor animal. It would not be good. Um, Hello. Welcome, welcome. This is just a chit chat. I'm not doing a productivity sprint. I know, because that's a little weird, because that's what I usually do, but I haven't um, done just a chit chat live in almost a year. Oopsie. So I'm here. I'm hanging out. I don't know for how long, but we're just chilling. Oh, yes. Yeah. If you want to do productivity stuff, you go to the right mindset. Thomas is way more productive than I am, and has been for like quite some time, a very long time. At uh at your age, it's nap, write, eat, nap. Mine's more nap, eat, cry, no, have coffee, nap, can't sleep, so then I read, work, sleep. Yeah, that's not fun. All you have to do is think about working out and it'll become a reality. Oh, I should. The yeah, the manifestation or whatever. What is that? The Secret. I have problems with that. I mean, there are some psychological and neuroscience studies about, I mean, what do you call it? Where if you sit in the negative all of the time, then you're more likely to um, think negatively. Yes, but then like when you go to The Secret, where like if you're not thinking positive thoughts 100% of the time, 24 hours a day, then you deserve to have basically bad things happen to you. Ooh, I want to slap someone because that's not how life works. Nap, cry, eat, coffee, read. Yes, that's me at this point. The Secret. But you know, my sarcasm is strong with that book. My disdain for that book is very strong. I absolutely understand about not thinking negatively or acting honestly like a bitch. Um, because you do attract after a certain point, because people don't want to put up with your bullshit, you do attract people that are also negative. I get it, but yeah, The Secret I can't. And I know people that really believe that, and I'm just like, okay. They just beat themselves up way too much. Like, you cannot control your thoughts and you can't control your feelings. The only thing that you can control is your actions, and that's what's the most important. So, I could be thinking absolute nonsense, negative thoughts, and I feel like crap, but it's my actions that matter at the end of the day, not what I was thinking or feeling. And I know that's a big concept that is like, what? For a lot of people, especially certain religions, say like everything that you think and feel is being watched by a higher being, and you should feel bad about that. Well, I'll leave that be, but I don't believe that. Talking about something completely different. I am actually doing pretty well with uploading. I did like, what was the video? A while ago, like just updates for everyone regarding um that I might slow down with uh videos, which, you know, um it hasn't happened because I'm still doing 3 videos. But then I have 3, do I have, I have 2 to 3. I have to look this up. Okay, I do notes. I have 2 to 3 videos planned, and then I'm just like, ooh, that's a lot. I think it's hit now where I'm just like exhausted with doing videos. Um, so it might go to 2 videos for a little bit. But like I was saying in that update video from maybe like, I think it might be 3 weeks ago. The time and space, it's not working. Um, I'm lost in it. Don't quote me on anything regarding time and memory. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll probably slow down like a lot. I haven't, but now I might. I am a little all over the place. If you haven't already noticed, this is what happens with 6 months straight of continually high stress that has not let up. It's just changed. That's what's happened. It started, I remember it started 2 days before Thanksgiving from our previous landlord and that nonsense, and then dealing with that, as well as buying a house, and then dealing with work stuff, and then packing and moving, and then doing all the new house stuff, and then more job issues. And here we are. Job issues, house issues. Here we are. I'm tired. But BookTube brings me a lot of joy, so I think it might just go down to 2 videos a week. That's what I was doing for a while. I just don't like that I sound like I'm exhausted, and I know that I sound exhausted right now. But you know what? It's 9:30 in the morning. So, actually, I have an excuse. At least this time. I sound exhausted. It's because I woke up an hour ago. So there's that. Can't say about the other times. Um, but maybe down to 2 because I'm looking at my 3 planned videos. I'm like, eh, eh. Okay, it's not great. Oh, we're here. Oh, welcome. Hello. Like George Carlin said, when people need self-help, why do they read a book written by someone else? Yeah, yeah. There there are, I think, books that are written by professionals that like they don't count as self-help. They count as they're nonfiction, but I forget the term. Like, so The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. That is not a self-help. Um that's a lot of science behind trauma. So I don't really give self-help book suggestions. I will give you outright scientific books about certain things from professionals, not just someone that's like, woohoo, I think I know what's going on in the universe. Yeah, that's not self-help, that help. I love that bit that he does. I haven't seen that one. I obviously need to look up George Carlin again. Oh, hello. Thank you, Elaine. I'm going to be on Elaine's channel on the 15th to talk about the Hunger Games. I can't talk about Divergent, though, Elaine. I don't know. I didn't read those books. I tried, and it was like, this is kind of dumb. My bad. Whoopsie. I'm being honest. I don't know those books, and I didn't watch the movies either. But I know the ending to the Divergent series, because people were really pissed off. And I know that because, well, they wouldn't stop crying about the ending of the Divergent series. And I was like, why are we upset? Oh, okay. That's a bold move, Veronica. It's a bold one. Yes, thank you so much. I hope so. Anytime now. Universe? No. Uh, oh, thank you so much. I apparently bring BookTube joy. I do my best. I do my best. That's why you're talking about the Hunger Games. Yes. Yeah. You talk about Veronica's Roth. Yeah, it's Veronica Roth. Am I blanking? Yes. I want to say Veronica Mars. That's not it. It's obviously not it. That's a TV show, right? That I did not watch, but it's in my mind. Yeah. Here we go. Do my best here. I did the Hunger Games trilogy book review and the Sunrise on the Reaping book review within the past 2 weeks, and I'm kind of surprised it didn't do as well. I don't know what the algorithm is anymore. No, I've never known what the algorithm is anymore. I don't know at this point in time how to get like the views and subscribers. So maybe I just continue to go, yeah, this might or might not work. So let's just do it just because. Because I was seeing people that were doing the Sunrise on the Reaping reviews and shorter reviews than mine. Mine's almost 19 minutes, and they were getting thousands of views, and I have 66. I'm like, what in the nonsense? I might have an issue in the background with I've been on BookTube for so long, which it's going to be 8 years this year in August, that I don't think YouTube's algorithm knows what to do with my channel whatsoever at all at this point. And it was there's even in those 8 years, I think half of them in the beginning, I was like right out of college, no idea what to do with anything. And I was just kind of doing whatever. So maybe I would hope that the first 4 years didn't completely wreck my damn whatever is behind the scenes, but maybe because the other 4 years that I've been actively doing it, I've had substantial growth the past year. But still, it's not kicking in with unlike other people. That I'm like, oh, you've been on for 6 months and you have 3,000 subscribers. Damn it. What are you doing? I'm just here, I guess. Yes, Elaine, the algorithm is a short trip to Crazy Town. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. My dragon book tag is hilarious. I maybe have 100 views. Others who have done my tag over 700. Yes, see, what are we doing? What are we doing, YouTube? My slight frustration is coming through here. I don't even know anymore. I'm not usually a numbers person, but then when you look at people and you're just like, you've been on for 6 months and I've been on for almost 8 years, and what did you do? Like, I would love to know. But yeah, I can't figure it out anymore. And I'm not hiring someone to figure it out for me because, hello, I need to pay bills. Oh, yes, the YouTube algorithm is not fixed and does adjust over time, and it doesn't primarily rely on when you started. The algorithm's core function is to recommend videos based on user preferences and recent viewing history, with newer information carrying more weight than other data. Well, let's hope. I think also I don't do a lot of the popular videos that lots do now. Like, no, ma'am, I'm not reading for 24 hours. I'm not staying up for 24 hours to read books. I have a full-time job. Okay. But that's a huge trend right now. I also don't do hate hate reading vlogs. I don't do videos on book or author drama. I don't do 1, 2, or 3-star reviews. Um, yeah, I don't do a lot of stuff that's really popular. So the thing, uh, what Thomas said, the algorithm's core function is to recommend videos based on user preferences. I guess I'm not doing user preferences. But I just I don't do things that go against my morals. And the internet is forever, and I think a lot of people forget that. Just because you delete something, that does not mean that it's gone. Just because you private something doesn't mean that it's gone. And I think a lot of the videos that come out, especially when you're like cursing out fellow booktubers or calling authors complete and utter trash, and say that, you hope that their books fail and all that stuff. And yeah, you get a 50,000 views in 48 hours, but are you going to look back at that and go, oh yeah, I'm so proud of that, right? It's, what are you leaving behind as a legacy? Um, and I think a lot of people are not thinking long term, and they're thinking, I want as many views as possible. I want as much money as possible. And how do I do that? Here's all the things that are really popular in BookTube. I'm going to do exactly that over and over again. Um, I came up when it was how you title things were up front. Um, like you said, the book title, the author, and then the it's a book review or book discussion, and then you say the spoiler level, or you could leave that out. But I still do that because I don't want to lie to people, and I don't like clickbaity titles, and I actually avoid them, though psychologically it makes sense why people click. There's a whole psychology background on certain titles, right? And I also am not a huge fan of shorts, even though I do some of them. I don't like the issues that are bringing up with shorts and people's attention spans diminishing over time. There's just a lot of stuff that I'm sure everyone, um, maybe not everyone. There are things that can be done to mitigate like bad attention span, or um, kind of like you're retraining your brain, rewiring your brain to not go for like the low hanging fruit, so to speak. But that takes work, doesn't it? I will um I will not click on clickbaity titles. I will not watch most shorts, especially if I know they're going to be negative. Um yeah, things like that. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. I just passed 3 years now at 500 subs, mini 1 year later, and all over 1K. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. I think it comes down to quality of content, titles, thumbnails, and niche. I know that helped. However, there are people over 5K subs, but their content is streamlined. Mine is educational. Sadly, Nicole, those people don't care about morals or legacy. That is true. Um, yeah, I mean, for AuthorTube, the Jenna Morrissey really kicked that off, and it was always top 5 things not to do when editing. Like it was like it's always a list, and they still on AuthorTube do that, but now it's a lot of vlogging. Girl, I don't do the vlogging. Do you really give a shit about what I do like that? Also, vlogging, that is a lot of work. There's so much work. I'm like, sorry. I mean, that like a 20-minute video could take days. Do you do you want to do that? I don't know. I also don't write like that. So I think the writing vlogging works for certain people. It ain't gonna work for me because I am what you would call a phoenix writer, where I will have a burst of energy like I'm being born as a phoenix, and um you're on fire, so to speak, so I can write 20,000 words in 2 weeks. And then I, as a phoenix, I die, and you don't write, you know, for a month. But then you're reborn again as a phoenix, and then you're blazing really hot, and then you write 30,000 words. And oh, yeah, you just wrote a book, right? If, 50,000 words works for you as a book. That's how I go. I don't see how you vlog that other than, yeah, well, I guess if you, okay, you can vlog it if you do the burning bright parts, but bro, I can't keep up with that. And also, I am an intuitive discovery writer and I don't outline. So there's like what I do. I just do whatever. I don't plan stuff out regarding writing. Hey, if you do any vlogging, props to you, Amy. I don't do crap. I don't do a thing. It's okay. I'm just hanging there. That's what I'm at. I'm just hanging in there. I actually thought that creating an omnibus for the first 3 books and then the short story for the urban fantasy book series would take longer, because I've heard so many writers like this as how it's taking me weeks to do a omnibus, and I did in less than 10 minutes on Atticus. So I actually have a lot of extra time. I'm just waiting for my book cover artist. It seems the largest booktubers spend more time editing than they do actually reading. No thanks. I prefer to watch channels that bring me value in their thoughts and reading experiences. Yeah, they make it really fancy. I don't like that. I'm just, hello, I'm just used to obviously old school booktube where it was more we're chilling together. And that's how a lot of people um, kind of describe me and my channel, Chill. We're talking about books like as if we were in this office. We're just chatting. And low production value. I don't think it's low, other than I film on my phone. But they have a lot of the big booktubers have their own studio all set up with camera lights. Then they have their own editors and they hire people to do really bold, fairly expensive thumbnails. Nope, I don't have that. I think a lot of people don't. But then they'll spend a lot, like if they don't have that set up, then they'll spend a lot of time trying to make it happen. And a lot of them do make it happen, but it's like, what else can you be doing? I think a lot of other things. That's just me though. And, and then also, unfortunate, but, and this isn't even a booktube thing, this is an everywhere thing, unfortunately, where you might come up, you join at the same time or relatively around the same time of a group of, let's just say, booktubers. Okay. And y'all become friends, and that's like a clique, so to speak. And then some rise higher than others, and a lot, unfortunately, not just on BookTube, but a lot will try to just one up each other in a trying to climb the ladder and push others down. And that's been happening for ages. Probably like the dawn of time, really. It has nothing, I don't think, has much to do with the internet. I think you see it way more and it's worse off because the internet is so expansive and people just love putting their business all up on on the internet for all to see. So you have more people seeing the climbing of the ladder and pushing people off the ladder to just get to the top. That's an unfortunate thing with humans. I don't think it's a new thing. You just see it more because the internet is forever and it's wide. Yeah, it touches everywhere, almost everywhere. So, yeah, unfortunate. But I've seen that happen so many times. But I think also there's a little bit of oh, we shouldn't do any type of friendship group whatsoever on booktube or other places. That's impossible. Okay, we are very tribal animals. um, we flock together. Now, is that flock going to stay that way forever and always? No, absolutely not. But if you join booktube at the same time and you find other people, like a group of 20 people, they're going to lock together. And then, there's a group over here that joined booktube a year ago and there's 25 people and they lock together. So there's just little groups, and within those groups, not all of them are going to be friends or anything, but some of them will. And so there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I don't know why people don't let us into the group." I mean, it's kind of because you come at the same time and then you grow, relatively speaking, at the same time, and so you've come together. And so yes, it is hard to get into certain groups, but that's kind of how people work. Like, most people work. I don't do that. All of the people that I came up with, they're gone. So I don't have that. Um, I don't talk to anyone, unfortunately, that um, that came up around me. Uh, I don't even think I talk to people that I was seeing from 4 years ago. I'm kind of like it's an evergreen situation of I'm open and here's my stuff that can be watched basically whenever. Because I still have videos from ages ago that people are finding. Thank you, Amazon, not Amazon. Thank you, YouTube, for showing videos from 5 years ago. But I did not really recently. I've noticed that even people that do the lots of the clicky baity titles and all that stuff, they will find older stuff and they will still click and watch it. It's just not fast. Like my book review videos, they do well. It just takes a long time. But so that's why I still do the evergreen stuff. Um, it works eventually. And I think it's kind of like cataloging what I've read and all that stuff as well. So some of it is, just what I grew up on BookTube doing. The other stuff is for me. I want to catalog stuff. Wait, did I do this one? Oh no. No. Yeah, no, I did that. Whoopsie. I'm lost. Okay. But how do they read 20 books plus a month? There are people that just read fast. Also, some might not be reading. They do audiobooks. And well, the ones that hire people, they can read whatever they want because those channels are so big that their whole job is to read and review books and they hire people out. There are quite a few that do that. Or they have a spouse that does it for them. I was surprised to see this um, one booktuber, Ian. He has been on less than 2 years, and now his full-time job is reviewing books and stuff. Um, would love that because I don't know if my job's going to be renewed in September, so that's fucking great. But I can't live off my channel. No, I cannot. What's the secret, Ian? You've been on less than 2 years, and now you're living off just reviewing books and putting out 2 videos a month. Love to know. I'm all for as little as possible, a clip here and there, updating my monthly reading or watching as I go because I just don't have time for the wrap ups, TBRs, hauls, and tags. Yes. I I don't do long videos. Well, there's some videos that are long. I don't know. I just kind of do it my way, and maybe that's why I'm not even at 2,000 subscribers yet. That's fine. It's um it's what is fun for you, and can you go to sleep at night? Because I know a lot of YouTubers, not just in BookTube, a lot of YouTubers are struggling. Actually, just content creators struggling because they have a mortgage, they have bills, and let's just stick with BookTube. Maybe they don't like reading anymore, or half the books that they read they hate, but it's popular, and that will give them 20,000 views, which means that they get to pay their electric bill and their internet bill and grocery store. Okay, I got to keep going because now I've been out of the workforce for a couple of years or 5 years or whatever, and I can't go back to an 8 to 5. So I just have to churn out stuff that I don't like. And there's empathy there. I feel that, especially because my job's is probably going to end in September. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? Um, yeah, the 8 to 5 sucks. I'm so tired of it. Especially like there's no stability anywhere. There's no certainty. Life is uncertain, and that sucks. And that's just reality for everyone. And so I can see how content creators are like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep going, even if I don't like it, because I'm not going to like the 8 to 5. I can't even get an 8 to 5 because I have a huge gap in my resume, right? Um, it's tough out there being an adult, let me just say. Yeah, I'm too old for ladders as well. I get dizzy on ladders. I have Thomas, and that is good enough, everyone. Actually, it's great. Thank you. Hello. Hello. Thank you. I have been chit-chatting for almost an hour. I forgot to say that I am reading a new book from the library. I don't know how I feel about that. And then we're going to wrap up. What am I reading? Let's go. The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. Anyone read it? I I like the idea. Do we need three points of view? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. And the time jumping from the past to the present to the future. It comes in threes. I see three characters, three time periods, not periods, three somethings. I don't know. I am going to. It's May, right? Yes, it's May. I'm going to just go hardcore with library books for May and probably most of June until it gets hot. Then I'll go back to reading books that I own because I am in no way, shape, or form walking to the library to drop off and pick up books and all that stuff during the summer. So until it gets hot, I'm not going to, you know, deal with the heat. It's happily in the high 50s, early 60s, mm, for quite some time until, yeah. So that's good. I just want to keep it as cool as possible for as long as possible because this house and most uh, buildings around here, they don't have AC because it's the Pacific Northwest. And for quite some time, you didn't need it until now. Thank you. It's blazing hot. Um, for like, yeah, like 3 months. Let's go with 3 months. But for May so far, it's not been blazing hot. I think we're going to just keep it going with the library books because I do also need to get out and walk more. So I just go back and forth to the library and walking and all that stuff. But I'm not going to be sweating my butt cheeks off for the library books when it becomes hot. I'm going to be in my office with a portable AC unit slowly dying for the remainder of the summer whenever that starts in the Pacific Northwest. I just want it to be as short of a summer as possible, but it keeps growing. It keeps getting longer and longer here, and I'm not interested whatsoever. Amy is reading of Empires and Dust. Is it of Empires? Oh, I haven't heard of that one at the moment. And in a little bit, I'm going to start a new book called The Traveling Cat Chronicles. Ooh, we love cats. Hello there. Going hardcore on library books, not a statement you hear every day. No, really. Uh, this is another thing with BookTube. I see a lot of people about, talking about consumerism and stuff, but then do you all go to the library? Do you go to the little library? Do you get used books? No, shut up. If you don't do that, shut up. That's my hot take for today. If you don't do any of that, you want to complain and point fingers at other people, whoop, I hit my desk. Sorry. It's an earthquake. If you don't do all that, but you continually put out videos that say that consumerism is bad and people are materialistic and blah, blah, but you don't do shit about it, go touch grass. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk for anyone that does that exact thing and now is pissed at me. I don't care. I'm stressed for 6 months. I'm spicy. What do you want from me? Okay? What do you want? At least I'm talking as well as doing. And I actually go to the little I go to the little library. Hasn't been great lately, but I do go to the library. And though I think the my library book haul slash TBR video for this month did actually well, so maybe people are actually not being annoying and they are looking up library book hauls. Because in the past, when I've done them, they got nothing, nothing. And I'm like, y'all just are annoying. That was 2 years ago. So there's always cycles of what people are going to bitch about for BookTube. I've been on for 8 years. I've seen every single conversation at least 5 times each. So that was not negative at you. By the way, I went off. That was for the people that are continually making consumerism videos complaining, but then they don't do shit about it, and then they continue to consume books. You're just like, okay, you're doing it for the views. I see how you are. Thank you. Not you though, JR. I'm saying other people. And it's a lot of people. Anyway, I didn't mean to. That was not yelling, right? I just got really forceful. Sorry. I just I'm seeing bullying happening and it is really annoying. Um it's always bullying on BookTube and the internet in general, but someone needs to tell other people go outside and touch some grass. That's just me today. For the haters, go outside and touch some grass. I did that yesterday instead of going off on a few people, and it was great. Okay. I could have made a scene on a specific thing yesterday, but I didn't because I chose not to. See, actions matter. They do. You have control of your actions, not anyone else, just you. Love my local, well, no, love my little local library. They just have air conditioned. Oh, dear God. They just air conditioned last year. Hello, that's good. Hello, man with a hat who reads. We love hats. I love beanies specifically. No AC in my house either, and I'm in the Midwest where humidity reigns in the summer. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. I'm halfway done with Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. Reread for me to kick off the Da Vinci Spiral. Yes, that's good. Hello, Matthew. You'll never hear me judge somebody for doing a book haul because I think that's probably better for them than going to McDonald's every day like most people. Or, eating icky stuff. Yeah. Money is tight these days. I will never not visit the library. Exactly. Exactly. I'm going to the library. I need to read, or else I'll go even more batshit crazy than I am right now. Hi, Jen. Welcome, Jen. Hello, hi. I can't say, but wanted to hit the like button and say hello. Exactly. Hi. Thank you for stopping by. Shout out to Jen, who is a member. You can be a member as well if you have the money. It's $3.99. We get a lot of stuff done on the membership side of my YouTube channel. But yeah, definitely understand if you can't join because the world's on fire. But I appreciate if you do. It's only $3.99. Elaine, I use the library, shop Amazon, and mostly shop at the thrift store. I don't unhaul too hard to find books. Yeah, there are quite some. Um, no, well, yeah, there is one book from March, the Etruscans book, Morgan Llewellyn and Michael Scott. That was really hard to find. Was not a fan of it, but it's a Morgan Llewellyn book. Actually, more. It's like a Michael Scott book. I could tell she didn't write it, but it was so damn hard to find. It's just like in the corner at the very bottom. You can't see it. I didn't rate it. It was a tragedy. Very sad. Are there other books that are like that? I don't think so. I don't know. Um, I don't seem to read books that are hard to find, I guess, other than Maureen Llewellyn at this point. Though I did do a 6 books few people read anymore. That's doing pretty well. That's a shout out to another bibliophile reads who at this point I think he has 34,000 views. Okay. Okay, Greg. On that particular video. And I was live with him and a couple other booktubers. And what was it? Was it this Monday? I think it was this Monday. And we were like, oh, we're gonna do that and see if we get anywhere near 34,000. But I'm at what am I at? Chris, Chris is at like 2,000 or something. I'm not anywhere near 1,000. Yo, let's see. 6 books, few people reading more. Oh, I'm at 96 views. Okay, yeah, everyone's beating me. The people who've done it. It's every single time. Okay, that's great. Um, that's great. I knew I was not going to get to 34,000 views like Greg, and it keeps on going. But that kind of is like a rare books thing. There, let's see. There's one book that I think is just out of print totally. But the no, the peer review Eve, that one is out of print, and that was from my grandmother. So that's hard to find. And then I think Sound of the Beast is out of print, like physical, but you can find it on Kindle. So that's not, it doesn't really count. Yeah. So the 6 books that few people read anymore actually um, kind of the same as finding books um, that you can't find anymore. So therefore, you're not going to give them away. Kind of. That's fine. Hope that made sense. I should have put an LOL at the end. Not offended at all. I think those videos are silly too. Yeah. Drink some water, mind your own business, people. If you don't like the consumerism, then don't do those videos and don't interact with those people. I don't see how, you know, whining about it continually, like at least once a month, if not more, is helping because they're not listening, obviously, and they have never listened on the 8 years I have been on BookTube. The consumerism issue has popped up every single year. It's like it's a wider problem in the United States specifically, but also in Western countries. And that's a huge topic to get into, and it's not something that you can solve by saying you shouldn't do those book hauls. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a waste of time, in my opinion. Bye, Amy. Bye bye. Thank you for joining. Hey, me. How many bad recommendations will you take from someone before you no longer accept their recommendations? I don't really do that because art is subjective. So it's just if if someone thinks that a book is great, I'll give it a go. I don't really think it like that. Have I stopped listening to someone. I haven't actually. I mean, I know myself, so I'll just DNF a book and it doesn't matter because, yeah, art's subjective. I don't think too deeply in that. Oh, Ward, I have 5 free books for the Mother's Day stuff for your Kindle event. Happy to give them away. If you're interested, reach out to Ward. I don't have anything free. It's unfortunate. I've just I usually do stuff. No, not actually. No, I don't do stuff for Mother's Day. I do stuff for like my uh historical fiction set during American Revolutionary War times, Patriot's Tale. I was um planning of doing like a free book um free book giveaway or something, but I don't know, do I have the energy for that? And also, I don't know why, but for some reason lately that book has been spicy for people. I don't know what changed because back in the day, when I was on Wattpad, A Patriot's Tale won a Waddy. It was huge. And then I guess I'm going to assume that maybe because of the title and it's about the American Revolutionary War and some other things that people are more I don't know, angry about the United States in general, and they go into A Patriot's Tale thinking that it's going to be extremely patriotic or something like that. It's not. Um, so yeah, I've just noticed people are a little cranky when it comes to A Patriot's Tale, and it's within the past year-ish, maybe year and a half at this point. So I don't even know if I want to talk about it a lot because it just doesn't sit well with people. And it's like, dear God, I don't need all of that drama. Um, and then Ward says, I have a 5-chapter DNF rule. So bad book recs don't affect me so much, she says, after deleting nearly 1K DNFs from her Kindle reader last December. Ooh, that's a lot, girl. That's a lot. um, that's a fair rule for DNF. It's like you're not putting the deep time into a bad book for it to bother you. That's a great way to approach it. Oh yeah, I don't have problems DNFing. I know a lot of people have to complete a book. Life is too short for that. I have no problem DNFing. And honestly, okay, here's the tea that people don't like to hear. But I've said this for so long. If you truly don't like something, then you don't give it energy. You act like that author and that book does not exist. And that is really a crux of my channel. And if you think about it, kind of, well, I guess it depends. That's subjective, but kind of bitchy in a way where I'm not going to waste my time and energy reviewing books that I did not like. I don't care. Therefore, I'm not putting the energy and the time into doing like a 20-minute video of a book that I have problems with or that I DNF'd. I rather uplift the authors and the books that are great rather than saying I'm going to do a hate video on it. I'm saying a lot of these videos that are hate reads, you're very passionate. Sometimes I understand that you want to get out your frustration, but could you also be doing something else with your time? Because even those, those hour-long hate videos where it's nothing positive whatsoever, I know that it's more than an hour. How much did you edit out? Yep. I that's where it's also like you're giving this book and this author a lot of publicity, bad publicity is still publicity. You are giving them time, energy, and therefore money. Do you really want to do that? Just a thought. Oh, right here. Oh, we're right here. Okay. I can't and don't annotate library books, so I buy my own. But when I can test run, read from my library, and then decide, yes, I love doing that. I did that with Demon Copperhead. When was that? 2 years ago? And I knew that I was not going to finish that book, but I went out and bought that book, and it's my all-time one of my all-time favorite books ever. And I am just obsessed with that. But I will take way more chances with library books because I didn't pay for them. So it's totally fine if I don't like a library book. I'm just like, okay, bye. You're going back home. It's okay. Art is subjective. I guess I'm old enough to remember when the word patriot was a good thing. Yes. Now, um, I just keep getting not so happy customers with a Patriots tale. So I'm like, I'm not gonna talk about it all that much or promote it. It's just there. Also, there's a lot of, and I don't know why. No offense, men. Okay. Well, especially not Thomas. Um, where they don't like the main character because a few reasons. But my that book is women's historical fiction. So it's focusing on a woman that is one in a million. And that's the whole point of women's historical fiction, where you have those very special female characters that go outside the societal norms. And I don't think guys get that a lot of the time. I'm sorry. But the complaints about my main character in A Patriot's Tale, it's mainly from men, except Thomas. Thomas got it. Thank you so much, Thomas. Um, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I rarely DNF. I think the only book I've ever DNF'd was the first book in the Crescent City series. Oh, it's the Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, that's I think a lot of people um here's a marketing hot tip. It takes 7 times for someone to be interested in a product. So you have to see it 7 times and then you get interested in a product. Like if you don't know that author, book series, or anything like that. Um, so you see it so many times, and that's the seven is at least 7 times, if not more. So when you see like the really popular booktubers reading the same books over and over again, there is marketing behind that, of course. But then also, then you're seeing it and you're like, oh, maybe because it's so popular psychologically, you unconsciously will go, okay, well, maybe it's good. Yeah, there's a whole marketing psychology behind all of that. The more you see something, the more the brain thinks, oh, it has to be good because you see it all the time, even if it's not necessarily marketed to you. Because Sarah J. Maas is romantasy ages 18 to 35, and that's actually a pretty big gap, but age gap. Usually you have to tighten that a little bit more when you're talking about marketing and age ranges and all of that stuff. Um, so my books mainly are for women, and it's about 18 to 35, and that's a big gap. But that's my reader audience. And depending on the month, that does reflect on my YouTube channel. But recently, I've seen that there's more men watching, and I'm like, okay. So I think, yeah, it's funny how that goes. But for the YouTube, it goes back and forth. So I just find that fascinating. Some months it's mainly men, and some months it's mainly women. And so then you have that, I personally have that weird crossover of, yes, I have books, and um, they are for women though. Like my not even a niche. My marketing strategy is women 18 to 35. And obviously men can read that, but there is a thing of relatability. Like there are definitely things that everyone or almost everyone can't be 100% that most people will buy, like water. Well, even that, there are people that just drink from the faucet. Marketing's hard, okay? It's just hard. But like toilet paper, and there are a lot of people that don't use toilet paper. Okay, I'm getting the point where there are things that most people buy that need to get it, but then there are still things within the need to buy where you niche down and you focus on certain um, parts of the population. And art is really hard because that is a niche. You don't, I know it's a hot take, but you don't need art to survive, right? Um, it fills your soul and it makes you happy and all that stuff, but like the necessities of life to not die is not art. I know that's so spicy. It's coming from a writer that I do need to write and to read. But if I'm out in the forest, I'm not reading a romantasy book to survive. You see what I'm saying? It's the what is it? Is it the triangle? There's a oh no, it's the this is the needs triangle pyramid. Okay, I'm losing it. I used to know all those things, but then I got out of scholarly world and I info dumped a little bit of some of that info. But there is a pyramid of needs. That's what it's called, the pyramid of needs. And really, the basics is shelter, food, water, right? And you're actually seeing this lately because of everything going on, the dumpster fire of life right now, where people are getting rid of art or they're not taking in more art, which namely would be books. They are trying to survive in a way, and what is first taken out of the budget? Fun stuff, art. And you see that reflective really with indies right now. Hi, hello. Oh my God. Woo! Has my book royalties dropped so bad. Um, but yeah, you don't need books to survive. You need to pay your electric bill. You need to pay your rent or your mortgage. So what goes first? It's the fun stuff. Unfortunately, I'm feeling it. Don't you think that I'm not? I am totally feeling that right now. I'm cutting out fun stuff, and I can see reflected in my royalties that just tanked. Um, a couple days before the tariffs were in talks. Yeah, people are hoarding cash, and so they are. Um, there, there's a lot of focus on just I need to pay the bills, and there are even a lot of them. A lot of people are ignoring their usual market, as in like, oh yeah, I would be interested in these books or that movie or those TV shows, but that cost money. So it's getting bad when people are not responding to their given market and uh, businesses and marketing companies are like, what the fuck? It ain't good out there, people. It's not. You have no books out. Oh, you do have. That was harsh. You don't have any books out. You have one poetry book out. I am on a book buying ban, sir. You know that. I'm just waiting for you to publish more stuff. I know it's coming. It's totally fine. I have an issue not finishing a book, so when I DNF, I always jump to the last two chapters, and most of the time I do not regret the jump. It is very rare to go back and reread. I don't reread either. I do not. There's too many books out there. There's really too much. Um, I have seen a 5-hour rant about Fourth Wing. I didn't like Fourth Wing, but no way did I rant. Of course, I didn't get 100K plus views either. No. See, yeah. Humans are smart and stupid at the same time. I say that as I am smart and stupid at the same time. It's true. And it has been noted, and there is many, many peer reviews and studies to back this up. Humans just notice negative things and they interact with negative things. So that is just a unfortunate part of the human condition. But for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, we were taught to look at negative things because that kept us alive. So it's not a it's not a good or a bad thing. It can be a bad thing in many instances, but it kept our ancestors alive to focus on negative, scary, dangerous things, or else you would be dead. I understand that completely. But now, because a lot of people are very secure um, that they're going to focus on negative things that don't make sense in a way. And one of them would be they're focusing on negative things online and they're seeking them out because they're getting dopamine hits and a bunch of other things. But yeah, humans, for the most part, naturally look to the negative. But there are reasons for that. There are reasons for most things, right? If a man were to try one of your books, which one would you suggest they try? I'm seeing a lot of positivity with my urban fantasy book series. The first book is Obsidian Murders, and I think that would probably be good. Thomas, drop in. Oh wait, well you've read two of the three standalones under my given name. The only books, like novels, Thomas has not read is Danu's Curse. And that one's also a spicy apparently for a lot of people, because it's kind of like morally gray in a way, which you see, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I want morally gray characters. I don't want, like Mary Sue's or Gary Sue's." And this was written a long time ago when that was like a huge thing. And also, I don't really write Mary Sue's or Gary Sue's in the first place. Um, so I was like, "Oh, well, let's make it even more a little morally gray," and people did not like that. I don't I don't know. Uh, that's fine. I don't go to market trends as well. So I would say Obsidian Murders under Nicole Brona, and then Thomas, if you're still watching. Um, do you think A Patriot's Tale or The Two Foxes would work? You haven't read Danny's Curse, so you can't really say, but if you don't mind one in a million strong female characters within historical uh, timelines that are focused on women, then A Patriot's Tale is for you. um, the Two Foxes is, yeah, it's definitely not as popular. That's like my least popular book under Nicole Pierman. That follows Sarah, who can see into the future, so she is deemed a witch, and it has a whole found family situation. and she runs away instead of being hanged as a witch during Puritan times and befriends a local native tribe in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. That's not as well known. Um, that's a good one for people that actually read it. They like it. I felt bad, so I went back and read Throne of Glass, and I can understand the appeal. But then I went and read her history, and her agent were brilliant at marketing. Yes, they were. Yes, well, they are. Yeah, it's really good. Hi, Emma. It's Emma. It's Thomas. I've been in the woods with the dogs. You know, that's the best place to be. Not really on the internet right now. Blink twice if you need us to come save you. Probably. I wouldn't buy my poetry book. It's scary. Yes, it is, I guess. I guess. I'm also on a book buying ban. But, if you send it over, I'll definitely read it. I'm cheap. I'm cheap right now. I am. I will be happy to admit that I'm cheap little mofo right now. Hi, Chris. Chris, uh, I met Chris Monday, and yeah, how is if you're still around? There's 8 people watching. Okay, I can just chit chat all day long. Welcome, everyone. Chris, if you're still on, how's your 5 books? Few people reading more. He was rebellious and he did 5 instead of 6. This is why I use all my free book days on Amazon and leave all my rough drafts for free on Inkit because I want to share the stories more than make a profit, but that's totes from my native family. Yeah, I was on Wattpad for quite some time, but that shit went crazy. And y'all need to behave on Wattpad. Okay? Y'all need to behave. Why don't you write books instead of try and get people canceled? How about that? I don't know if that's still happening. But oh my God, was that a thing when I was around and y'all need to chill. I hope you chilled. Well, yeah, Wattpad's not doing as great as it was. It kind of imploded in 2019, 2020, so that's when I left. Even though I won a Waddy for Patriots too. Oh, she bought oh, that's so great. Lovely. Oh, and Emma, congrats to Emma for being the Read Now Author of the Month. Yes. Uh-huh. I think we're all just the amount of lovely, possibly. We'll see how that goes. Bye, Elaine. I'll see you next week on her live, the 15th. I like that you don't spend 50% of the book describing the male diphthong. Yes, thank you. I try my best. I'm not a romance writer, though. I don't, I have romance in some of the books, not in the urban fantasy. Um, that's just, it doesn't need to be there. Um, yeah, I'm not a romance writer. Like, I think people forget, unless you're a like a true romance writer or a true romance reader, you can have romance in the book, but just because it has a thing doesn't mean that it is the thing. And there are romance beats and expectations that must be in the book for it to be capital R romance, or else you didn't write a romance book. I don't write romance. I'm running back and forth between the chat and outside. Hubby brought me new rose bushes. Oh my, that's so cute. We bought the house with rose bushes, but they haven't bloomed. I don't know when they're supposed to bloom. I don't know. So I think it's going to be a surprise. I think there's 6. I'm looking out the window. I can't tell. 6 to 8. We'll see if what happens there. I have no idea. But at least they came with the house, and they're pretty big. So I hope that they bloom, or else I don't know what to do with them. It's doing well, not rebellious, just stupid. I thought I did 6. That's happened to me in the past. Like you just forget because you're really excited or you're exhausted. And you think you do something and then you're like, "Oh, wow, I'm not going to redo this video." But I'm just going to fix up the title and make a note as many places I can Oopsie daisy, I messed up. I think I did that. No, I for sure did that. Uh, Talking about the six books, few people read anymore. I chose for the Mercedes Lackey book. Um, what's the damn title? Oh my God, I blanked out. I did. I chose the book cover that's like kind of like an omnibus. Like it's all of the books instead of is it reserved for the cat? Yeah, okay. Um, I chose the omnibus book cover because it's the Elementals book series, and Reserved for the Cat is in that series, the Elemental series. But I chose the books, the omnibus series, not Reserved for the Cat book cover. Whatever. You know what? It's fine. We're all fine. It's okay. I don't even know. No one has mentioned it because that's a book that few people read. I like live plants, and this is his way of keeping me from going and buying baby chicks. Oh, yes. I don't know if I should be getting chickens, but in where I am, you can, even though it's the suburbs near uh, multiple big cities. The zoning is a little messed up, but this where I'm at, actually, like most places where I'm at, the cities grew and they didn't change the zoning or the ordinances. So there's a lot of people with pigs and chickens where I am. Oh, it's kind of funny. I read one Mercedes Lackey book when I was a teenager. I remember enjoying it, but can't remember the title. Yeah, she's been publishing for so long that her backlog is huge. I read multiple books of hers. It's just like, where do I go? Where? Where does where do I start again? I don't know. But but I think maybe I guess you could go like to the beginning. Start that out. Hello, Patrick. Hello. Mercedes has been writing for so long. I think maybe it's 30 years now that you're like, oh damn. But then she's not well known. It's like, what are we doing? Because I see a lot of people complaining about romantasy and that how you can't, particularly in this day and age, I guess, you can't trust like female fantasy writers. And okay, I get the argument. But also do your research. This comes with the marketing thing of, yeah, you see so many books in your face all the time that then you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a great book, but oh, wait, it's not actually quote unquote meant for me. And that's a lot of romantasy. And then also there are indie writers um, where they are not doing marketing correctly. Like you could get way more readers that are happy with your book if you market it correctly. And if it's romantasy, then it's romantasy. Don't say that it's epic fantasy. Like, and then they complain, oh my God, I don't know why people are upset because you're not marketing it correctly. That's why, baby. That's why. Sugar Plum. Come on. And there are lots of epic fantasies with romance as a subplot. That is different than a fantasy romance. I know you know this, or maybe you don't, and maybe you need some marketing 101 or something. But yes, I see it a lot where nowadays romantasy writers, and it's not even indie, it's also traditionally published peeps as well. They're pushing, oh, it's epic fantasy, or it's high fantasy, or it's contemporary fantasy, but it's romantasy. Come on. And so then Yeah, people are upset because you're saying that it's epic fantasy, but it's romantasy. The beats are romance. You can't have the book without the romance. That's why it's romance. Um, Whereas, in epic fantasy, there's a romance subplot, but if you took out the romance, it doesn't really do that much. So that's kind of the kicker. If you have the romance and if you take out the romance, then you don't have a book. Yeah. And then also, you know, the there are specific beats for romance, and if you don't hit those beats, then you didn't make a romance. And people are upset about that, but there are genre expectations that you must meet for the genre to be per market. Um, and yeah, people don't like that either. But what makes a genre, it's these rules and expectations. That's not just a book thing. That's not selling out. That's you're writing for example, urban fantasy. What is an urban fantasy? These are the expectations, these are the beats. If you don't write that, then you didn't make an urban fantasy per genre expectations. And you can do that. You just have to remember that that's going to be a hard sell because it doesn't fit anywhere. I mean, and that would be considered a passion project, and that nothing's wrong with a passion project. It's just that you might have people that are upset. Hi to everyone that just joined. Hi, hi, hi. Talking about one in a mill character, had a beta reader a few years ago get mad at my standalone More Than a Gunslinger, which has a female MC in 1869 because I didn't make her oppressed. Yeah, it's a tight rope to hang on. um, all of not all. A Patriot's Tale and The Two Foxes, there is oppression. But they push the the main characters that are women, they push back heavily. Um, and they get in trouble for it a lot. So, but there's always characters, or there's always people in the minority, of course, that push back over and over and over again. And then it grows slowly but surely. And here we are today. And it takes a long damn time for many things to change, but it's always a minority that pushes and pushes and pushes that then, it grows slowly but surely. And now we have what we have today in the 21st century. And I think people forget about that. But it is also realistic to have people push back in some form or another. For Ness and Danu's Curse, that is a bit different because it's ancient Ireland, the early Iron Age of Ireland, and you could say that the Celts in general depends, but really overall, the Celts in general were very proto-feminist. And also, that is historical fantasy, and Ness has magical powers, and she's very powerful. So then she has like a one up of all of the humans. So before really Christianity came about in Ireland, women had a lot of power compared to other societies during that time. You also see that with Egypt and the Norse. It goes back and forth. It changes, of course, but there were a few societies where women were somewhat equal or equal in um, certain situations with men, and that would be proto-feminism as you would be defined today, like just specifically the Celts. They were female warriors, they were female chieftains slash queens, however you want to say that. You could decide who you wanted to marry. You could divorce. You could own property. You owned your own things like that, where in other societies, you got none of that, right? So, in a certain way, Danu's curse is different than A Patriot's Tale and The Two Foxes. But yeah, it helped that it's ancient Ireland and there's no Christianity, and she is very powerful. But in some ways, she's oppressed. Ness is smart, but also naive, and that has to do with her upbringing. Um, that one, I think, for all of my books, but mainly the standalones under my given name, I want you to think. Um, I want you to, you know, analyze what's going on in all three of those books. And I know it some people don't want to do that. Actually, yeah, a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people are reading for entertainment, but and I get it, I'm reading for entertainment as well. But with those three standalones, I really want people to think and analyze each chapter and like the overall story. That could also be why people aren't like huge fans. Because now it's not black and white. You have to think about that. Um, in many cases, you have to think about those three books deeply. Um, and I'm not saying that the urban fantasy isn't thinking deeply, but it's not as deep. And you can definitely analyze stuff, of course, but that um, that's the urban fantasy mystery. It's an urban fantasy and mystery beats combined, and mysteries aren't very specific, and you don't really have arcs, character arcs, or anything like that. So it's a different vibe, I should say. Oh, he is off. Thomas is off to get ready for his 2 p.m. live stream. And oh, geez, we've been going for a long time. I'm a little hungry, everyone. And I need to go to the bathroom, honestly. I didn't know we would be going for almost 2 hours. So thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I'm going to get some brunch and start the day. I'm actually going to visit my former neighbor. She has a booth nearby, doing like arts and crafts and stuff. I'm going to show the support, and I have to get ready for that. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to try and do these at least once a month. I just have to remember. That's bad to say, but yeah, my head is kind of full of a little too much stress. Boop, boop. So I do have to remember stuff. But I will try and do this at least once a month, if not more. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you for the regularly scheduled uploaded video for Monday. Bye. Oh, thank you. Bye, Chris. Thank you.